Guys, in this video, you'll discover the origin of the symbiotes and which house Venom was referring to Eddie at the beginning of the Venom The Last Dance trailer. Stick around until the end, because I'm sure you'll enjoy discovering how the symbiotes came to be in the galaxy. The trailer for Venom The Last Dance arrived with a bang and undoubtedly caused a knot in the heads of many people who watched it. After all, what house is Venom telling Eddie about?
Eddie, my own, has found us.
And what could those falling meteors be? That's why I'm going to show you all the clues to the symbiote's origin now. We're going to unravel this path together, and I'm going to show you all the comic book references to KNULL complete origin, so that you can leave here completely expert in the symbiote and also in the great villains of Venom The Last Dance. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, and let's unravel this mystery. The main point here is that this scene is leading many people to think that Venom 3 will take place between the post-credits of Venom 2 and the post-credits of Spider-Man On the Way Home, indicating that the movie's universe would be the main one used by the MCU. But the big question is, what is Venom's home? Well, I'll explain. For a long time in the comics, the home of Venom and all the other symbiotes was the planet Clintar. Planet Clintar used to be known as the planet of the symbiotes, but that's actually a big misconception. And to explain the truth to you, I'm going to tell you the story of the KNULL, the god of the void or absolute darkness. He is the creator of the symbiotes, and it is from him that everything begins. KNULL was the first inhabitant of the 616 universe, which is the canonical universe that we all know from the main Marvel films. The first being was the god KNULL, and before everything in the universe could exist, he was already there in the darkness. History tells us that he was the son of darkness, an ancestral god. That is, he was the heir to all the darkness that existed in the universe. Until the Celestials, powerful and creative beings, arrived with light, dispelling the darkness that was KNULL's inheritance. The Celestials began their endeavor by forming all of creation, the planets, the galaxies, the stars, and the entire complex universe. The fact is that the Celestials didn't ask KNULL permission to dispel the darkness. They simply invaded, and you must imagine what happens when one being invades another's place without permission. There's obviously going to be a fight. And that's exactly what happened. The beings of light invade the world, and the inheritance of a being of darkness, and a violent war begins. Here's a curious fact. The weapon that the KNULL used to wage war against the Celestials, he created from his own shadow, generated by the light of a Celestial. The Celestial generated a light against the KNULL, and from that shadow he created the dreaded Necro Sword. This sword is the same one we saw in Thor's Love and Thunder, and I'll tell you more about it later. With that sword, he severed the head of that Celestial who had projected light at him, and after that he used that same Celestial's energy-filled head to finish forging the Necro Sword. If you like items from the world of movies, comics, and games, then I'm sure our list of selected products is for you. You'll find the best items chosen exclusively for their quality and great price. Don't waste time. Come and join the world of the Nerd Labs. Click on the link in the description and enjoy. You see, the sword was already so strong that in one blow it defeated a being as powerful as a Celestial. Now imagine after the upgrades KNULL made to it. That's why this sword is one of the most powerful and feared weapons in the Marvel Universe. Another detail, folks, is that this severed head became what we know as Nowhere. This is the same head that appears in the film Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm sure many of you have already wondered how that Celestial died. Over time, several gods and beings of light emerged that were opposite to KNULL. So that's why his life goal was simply to make his house go back to the way it was before. That is, darkness, especially because he was invaded and had no allies to join him. Looking from this point of view, you can't even call him a villain. The guy just wanted to recover what was his by inheritance. Well, guys, the fact that he didn't have allies to fight in this infinite war caused him to lose a lot of strength. In one of these fights against the beings of light, he was seriously injured and ended up falling on Gorr's planet. And at that time, Gorr lived on a desert planet full of tribulations, catastrophes, hunger, and violence. The guy literally lost everything he had, his wife, his son, and because of that, he hated the gods. Until the day that, because of this hatred against the gods, his own people expelled him from the tribe. He was going to die in the middle of the desert, but he ended up finding KNULL's body and stealing the Necro Sword from his body. After that, the Gorr left the planet swearing revenge on all the gods. And this was represented in the film Thor, Love, and Thunder. We see Gorr acting in general terror. For those who read the comics, you know that at that time, the Vikings ruled the land, And it was at that time that Gore beat young Thor and tortured him for weeks. While Gore was there on his crusade against the gods, more than 100 years had passed without KNULL having any energy, and he was weakening wandering around Gore's desert planet. Until he discovered that he could become stronger if he created a symbiosis with other living beings. He realized that he was gaining more and more energy by fusing the animals on this planet with the essence of the abyss he had. The air of darkness and emptiness was there, folks. So Gore's planet now ended up becoming a living laboratory where KNULL gave birth to all his symbiotes. KNULL and these beings that he symbiotically were as if they were one body, because he developed a mind in which all the symbiotes shared everyone's thoughts. In other words, they thought the same thing and followed KNULL's will. Some of you may wonder, so Klyntar, which was the planet of the symbiotes, is the same planet as Gore? Well, guys, the answer is no. In fact, the symbiotes were born on Gore's planet, but that planet is not Klyntar. What happened was that KNULL continued his mission to turn off the light of the universe, but he stayed on his throne on Gore's planet, and he used the symbiotes to do his dirty work for the galaxy. The plan seemed to be working until one of his symbiotes went to Earth and crashed head-on with Thor. This symbiote, which was a dragon, when fighting Thor receives a blow from Thor's magic ray, and because of this, it affected KNULL's entire hive mind and disconnected all the symbiotes. Now all the symbiotes were no longer trapped under KNULL's mind control. After that, the symbiotes spread across the galaxy, now completely alone, began to merge with other beings and began to use them as hosts. And because of this, these hosts gave a new worldview to symbiotes. They began to see things differently without being trapped in KNULL's mind. Because of this accidental release and all the knowledge acquired by the hosts, the symbiotes realized that KNULL would be a threat to the entire universe and all life that existed. It was like this that all the symbiotes rebelled against KNULL and imprisoned him in a symbiote cage made of their own bodies. And that's exactly what the planet Klyntar is, a prison. It was never a planet of symbiotes. Klyntar is KNULL's prison. It is a living cage the size of a planet made up 100% of symbiotes, constantly preventing KNULL from leaving. And this is where I need you to understand this whole story well. Because when in the trailer Venom says that my house found us, he's talking about Klyntar, the living prison of symbiotes. In other words, he is talking about all the symbiotes, and as soon as he says this, meteors appear coming to Earth. This is also reinforced by the general in the trailer scene. The general says there is an army coming to Earth. So it looks like Venom, The Last Dance, will be a full-scale alien invasion symbiote movie. The question remains, if the symbiotes broke the prison to come to Earth to find Venom, what happened to the god KNULL? Is he now loose in the universe? Or will he also be part of the invasion of Earth? Well, guys, unfortunately, Sony will need to release more trailers or we won't know until the film's release day. Now, tell me in the comments, did you know the story of the origin of symbiotes? What are your expectations for Venom: The Last Dance? I'm particularly looking forward to knowing what this new plot will be like. So did you like this content? Don't forget to subscribe here to the channel and also turn on notifications. And don't forget to check out our list of products selected for you in the description. I'll leave this video for you as a content recommendation. I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching, my friends.